Hey guys, what is up? This is Matt Today, it's me once again. Welcome back to another movie review, aka After I Saw. Now, I know what you're thinking. Where have I been the past 2 weeks? Did I go on vacation? Did I take a long break? This movie has been out for a week and nobody has really been seeing it. So, why am I reviewing it so late? Well, there is a big reason behind that. No, I did not go on vacation. No, I wasn't expecting to take a long break. I did not want to take a long break. I wanted to see this movie as soon as it came out, but I didn't. You want to know why? Because last Monday I tested positive for COVID. So because of that, I could not go outside. I mean, I could go outside. I just couldn't go anywhere. I could not leave my room. I had to get people to come in and give me food. So yeah, it was 10 days of absolute boredom for me. So that's why I'm reviewing this movie so late. But I tested negative today, so now I'm finally reviewing this movie, even though there are two other movies coming out that I do plan on seeing that I will review. I know I'm reviewing this super late, but the point is I'm here now. So yeah, I'm here to talk about The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Now, this is based off a chapter from Bram Stoker's novel involving Dracula, and we follow a crew as they load up crates and then set sail through the sea, only to find out that in one of those crates there was a mysterious creature. Basically, Dracula was in it, though Dracula takes on a much more dark form in this film. So yeah, it hasn't been too hot for vampire films, even though I thought they were pretty good. They didn't do well financially, this and Renfield, but this one is definitely far more different than Renfield. Well, Renfield was a dark comedy film that was filled to the brim with fun. This is a much more slower moving film. It doesn't rely heavily on fun all that much, and honestly, it's quite a depressing film, actually. This comes to us from the director of The Autopsy of Jane Doe and Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, two films I really enjoyed. This is certainly not nearly as good as those two films, but needless to say, I feel like there was some talent behind this film. I mean, the movie has suffered a few, development issues and whatnot, like they were trying to get the right director for it. And sure, the end product isn't necessarily perfect, but I feel like there are some things about this movie that definitely did work. It's a very nice looking movie, like the sets and all, they just look absolutely phenomenal, despite the fact that the demon has a mixture of both practical and CGI effects. It's certainly a far more film that's heavy on, sets and all, because in terms of the creatures, there really isn't that much, creature stuff going on in the movie. Though, okay, there kind of is, though just don't expect like a fast-moving film filled with creature attacks, because it's a very slow-moving film. Though I will say what was happening in this movie was far more interesting than what was going on during the first hour and 15 minutes of The Meg 2. And everyone all around are absolutely phenomenal, and shockingly, the characters actually have some pretty good depth to them. In fact, there are a couple of deaths in the movie that I actually thought were kind of depressing and were pretty tragic. So it does a really good job of me actually, sort of caring for the characters a bit. I mean, there isn't really like a character in this movie I would consider to be memorable. I just think that in terms of the depth that they're put in, I feel like that's mostly what works because of that. Now, in terms of Dracula himself, the way he looks, it's definitely not your usual take. In fact, it doesn't really feel a whole lot like a Dracula vampire-like story, because I wouldn't necessarily say this is a vampire film. I mean, sure, creatures have fangs and they bite your neck, but it's more of a vampire creature feature. Like, I don't really know how to fully put it, but needless to say, don't go into this movie just expecting like a flat-out creature feature. And it is slightly too long. It honestly should have just been an hour and 30 minutes, because nearly 2 hours is definitely a little too much for this film, and I know I complain about runtimes a lot. And the conclusion, I thought, was kind of lacking. I mean, the very, very last scene of the movie, I was just all like, okay, are they trying to, set something up with what's going on? Like, it should have just ended 5 minutes before that, or for, I don't know how long. But in the end, guys, Last Voyage of the Demeter, it might not be doing well right now, but it's certainly not a bad watch. It has good performances. It's a nice looking film. and some solid enough direction. It's just not as memorable as some of the previous films that the director has made. I can say I had I wouldn't necessarily say fun time, just a good enough time. And it actually does tend to get quite tense at some parts. It's not a film that I found to be flat out scary. I mean, it does have some pretty dark moments, and it is quite depressing, so needless to say, it really succeeds in those aspects. So yeah, I'll be seeing Blue Beetle and Strays, symptom free. So yeah, just don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. Just to clarify. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Word out.